Chapter 7. The confusion was far too much for Angelica. She didn't know it until that point in her life, but relied on seeing faces to get her through the day. A lack of faces as a reference point was too much to bear. She wanted to see a friendly face, but saw only masks. Some were those with the large nose, plague masks as far as she could remember. Others were adorned with so much embellishment that she wondered if they were heavy to wear. Angelica had never seen so many ostrich and peacock feathers in one place. In addition to the way people looked, the way that Carla Clements had been decorated was overwhelming. The darkness of the place with the lights off was in stark contrast to the strobe lights that flashed one way and then the other, catching the glittery decorations. It was gaudy to the point where she wanted to look down at her feet, but fluttering confetti had been strewn down there too. She wanted it to stop, but she knew it wouldn't. Angelica spotted the bar through the glaze of the strobe lights and decided that would be the best place to spend a few moments collecting her thoughts. Her back would be turned to all the activity, and the only faces she would see were the ones of the bar staff. They were wearing masks too, but company-issued ones that made them all look the same. That was as a safe place as she could find inside the venue. "A bottle of white wine!" Angelica spoke loudly to the bartender over the music. She held her hands around 6 inches apart to indicate the size of the bottle of wine, but the bartender was already ahead of her and placed a napkin on the bar in front of her. Then he assembled all the constituent parts of her drink. The bottle of wine, a wine glass that was small enough to carry around but big enough to get all the wine inside, a straw, and the screw top for the wine. Angelica wondered whether it was the fact that someone always got hurt that prompted them to leave the top for the bottle with the customer. This way they could replace the top and stop any nasties entering their bottle. She smiled at the bartender as he placed them meticulously in front of her in the same way she pictured a Michelin-starred chef placing all the items of a carefully constructed plate of food. She picked up the bottle and emptied the contents into the glass. Imbibing the alcoholic drink through a straw would mean it went straight to her head. She knew that from past experience. €5, the bartender said in the gap between the music. Angelica hadn't put her hand into her purse when a voice from next to her spoke up. "I'll get that," he said. "Absolutely no need," Angelica said, waving her hand in his direction but not looking at him. It wasn't a particularly original or particularly subtle way of making an approach. Angelica didn't appreciate it. She reached into her handbag for a €5 note and left it on the bar. The man sighed and shrank back into his seat. He had obviously dragged a comb through his shaggy brown hair, making it look more unruly than before comb contact. His mask didn't hide dark eyes that bore right into the side of Angelica's face, but she didn't notice. She concentrated dead ahead and nowhere else. "Why don't you let me buy you a drink?" he asked again. The Spanish lilt in his accent reminded Angelica of Mariana. Her mind went home. It was Tommy's bedtime. She hoped he wouldn't give his babysitter a hard time. If he didn't want to go to sleep, then he would pull out all of the tricks. She ignored the man to her left. "I think that one drink doesn't mean anything. Unless you wanted to." She ignored more. But she had the feeling he wasn't going away. Angelica wanted to be with her friends. But with all the visual stimulation and everyone's face covered with a mask, she didn't know how to find them. No point in calling on her phone. The noise would make it impossible to hear each other. The man at the bar started again. "You could be my English Rose." "You're a genius!" Angelica shouted in his general direction. The friends had all agreed to wear a red rose on their dress so they could recognise each other. Angelica downed the glass of wine and headed off into the throng of people.